What's up? Good morning, Raider Nation. Happy freaking Tuesday. What is it? May 12th? I am the Commish, and this is another edition of your Raider Reaction morning show. And we're going to spend a little time today digging in to some nuts and bolts on the top two picks, those two first-round picks. You know who I'm talking about. Number 12, Henry Ruggs III, and number 19, Damon Arnett. I want to start with Henry Ruggs III first. Of course, who knows more about him and the capabilities and what this kid can do than his coach in college, Nick Saban. Let's see what he's got to say.
And we are joined by the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Nick Saban. And Coach, we appreciate your time so immensely. And I'll just ask this at the top. What are the silver and black getting in Henry Ruggs III as a player?
Well, I think first of all, you're getting a great person. You're getting a guy that has great competitive character, really hard worker, and very, very explosive, talented guy. He's got great hands. He's got great speed. He's a great special teams player, which is unusual sometimes for guys that play receiver, that he's a gunner. He can cover kickoffs. He's got a lot of mental and physical toughness about him relative to the position. So I think he's definitely what you would categorize as a speed receiver, a guy that can really get on top of people, a guy that's great, running straight line routes, but he drops his weight and gets out of breaks, pretty good too. So, but I think what you're getting is a really good person, a hard worker, somebody that is going to be a great teammate, that's going to get along well with all the people that he plays with.
Now, a different angle for Henry Ruggs III. We all want to know, how many touchdowns is he going to go? What's the over-under for Henry Ruggs III this season? Well, let's talk to some guys who know a little bit about the gambling game and what the over-under might be for that new number one in Las Vegas.
Henry Ruggs III was the first wide receiver taken in the 2020 NFL draft, got picked up by the Raiders. Let's find out how many touchdowns he's going to have this year. For that, I bring on Corey Parson and Jamie Eisner, our fantasy and gambling analyst here at Sports Illustrated. Jamie, I'll start with you. Give me the rundown of what these sports books think, how many times Ruggs will get into the end zone this year.
Yeah, the current over-under is 4.5 with slight juice to the under. It's a little bit flukier to predict touchdowns versus receiving yards, but it's going to be very interesting because Derek Carr's really suffered the last few years of not having a couple top receiving options. With Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree on the team, he threw at a 5% touchdown rate. That dropped under 4% without them. I think now with Ruggs joining Tyrell Williams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, that we'll see Carr at that 5% rate again, which means Ruggs doesn't even have to catch 20% of Carr's touchdown to get over this total to get to 5. I like the over.
Corey, I'll go over to you. I mean, Jamie rattled off a couple of receivers. Tyrell Williams, Hunter Renfrow. Ruggs is going to step in from day one and be their wide receiver one. 4.5 touchdowns. That kind of seems on the low side, right?
Exactly. And that's what makes this one kind of tricky to me, because 4.5 with more or less even money to the over, you got to figure a lot of money's on the over, considering the fact that Darren Waller is the biggest threat in the receiving game and he's a tight end. So I think that Ruggs has a chance to come in here and go over that number, but it is a kind of tricky one. One of the things I will say about this is, though, when you watch Ruggs play, when he gets the football in his hands, he's very dangerous. So it's not like we need a ton of long bombs. His yards after the catch is very good. He's an entertaining player. He's excitement on every play. It could happen. I'll take the over, but I wouldn't bet on this one too heavy. It looks like it could possibly be a trap.
Ooh, trap games. Stay away from the trap games. We do not like those. All right, plenty more gambling analysis. You can find it all from Sports Illustrated. Guys like Jamie, Corey, they do it all. Go to si.com/gambling.
Damon Arnett, John Gruden, big fan of his second number one pick. And he's got some words to say about why he picked Arnett, how valuable he thinks he is, and what this kid could be.
See, I liked Arnett as much as Okuda. If you look at the production, Arnett's got more production. He played last year hurt with a broken right wrist. I think he's the best tackler in this draft. I think he's an old school bump and run Raider cornerback that's physical and nasty. He reminds me a lot. I'm not going to guarantee this, but he reminds me a lot of Aqib Talib, a guy that we drafted in Tampa several years ago. He's a guy that has great confidence in himself. He comes from the big arena at Ohio State, and the bigger the game, the better he played. I think Vegas is going to love Arnett. He's matured. He's grown up. This guy's learned some difficult lessons, and I think he's responded. He went back to Ohio State to prove that he could get it done, and he's got a son. He's really got a great future ahead of himself.
It's time for Prime.
What's up? This is Prime, and this is the Prime Cut. So Tua Tagovailoa has finally signed on the dotted line. He is officially a Dolphin, he signed a contract worth $30.28 million, man. Boy, oh boy. And I think it's going to be worth it. Tua's going to be a pretty decent quarterback once he gets on the field. I think if they actually made it an open quarterback camp, he could probably outplay the old Harvard grad, but anyway, Fitzpatrick has his work cut out for him. He's going to probably basically coach the boy up for, a few weeks before he gets his first start in the NFL. And as the way things are going right now, I think he'll probably get that first start around week 3 or 4. Now, the reason I say that is because he's already one of the most popular players in the NFL. If you go by jersey sales, then he is. Because, in fact, who took over the number 1 spot from Tom Brady as a Buccaneer in terms of jersey sales is Tua Tagovailoa. So that's right. The Miami Dolphins quarterback is now number 1 in jersey sales, and I think he'll be number 1 on the quarterback depth chart in just a matter of time, by week 3 or 4, as long as, football goes on how it's supposed to, We've already heard that baseball is looking at having no fans. I just watched a UFC with no fans, so it's pretty safe to say that football is at least going to start with most likely no fans. Of course, we'll all be right by that TV, waiting for that first snap to happen. This is Prime, and that's the Prime Cut.
Proceed with caution. It's time to enter into the mind of Raider Chris.
Yo, man, what's cracking? Raider Chris here. I've been watching The Last Dance since it started, and it gave me a newfound appreciation for what Jordan did for the game of basketball. And for all you cornball-ass, pee-wee motherfucking douchebags that think that, Jordan couldn't hack it in this league, are you fucking kidding me? The way they played in the 80s and the 90s? Dude, it's soft-ass deep. There ain't even no fucking defense played in today's NBA. Stop it. That dude would drop 45 easy every night. Kawhi Leonard, come on, stop it, dude. He would light Kawhi up like there was no tomorrow. Stop that bullshit. All you fucking, like I said, you fucking cornballs piss me off that even weren't alive to see that fucking era. Talk shit. Man, fuck off, dude. Out.
What's up, guys? It's Raider Wop with the morning mailbag here on the Raider Reaction Morning Show. I did see an article out there earlier that there's 5 Las Vegas Raiders that need to step up, to kind of cement their spot for 2021. 1 being Derek Carr, 2 being Tyrell Williams, 3 Gabe Jackson, 4 LaMarcus Joyner, and 5th wasn't a player, it was a coach, Paul Gunther. So I kind of agree with all them. I don't really have any, fab about that. So also Devontae Booker, we knew he was coming on board. I guess it became official today. I haven't got to look at the details of the contract, etc. stuff yet, but I'm definitely excited to have him on board. Hopefully we'll be carrying 4 running backs, Jacobs, Rashard, Booker, and Bowden. I'm definitely anxious to see, how things pan out in 2020, so welcome aboard Devontae Booker.
It just wouldn't be a morning show now, would it? Without a freaking D-bag of the day.
You, sir, are a fucking douchebag.
Good morning, everyone.
man. I have a douchebag for y'all. This is Raiders Girl coming live from my hallway. I'll give a douchebag to whoever decides on what national holidays there are. I truly believe Mother's Day and Father's Day should be a national holiday, so at least the day after we have the ability to not have to go to work, because waking up this morning was hella rough. So to whoever decides what days we can have and can't have off, because fuck, man, I'm tired.
And now to send you out on your Tuesday to just, completely dominate, make it your bitch. Your Raider quote of the day. The Raiders of old were vicious and crazy and cruel. Hanging around their locker room was like hanging around the weight room at Folsom Prison. Words of Hunter S. Thompson. Have a kick-ass Tuesday, Raider Nation. Make sure you tune in tonight for the Raider Nation Report. Until then, I'm out. Peace, love, Raider Nation.